Hello and welcome to the channel. This month's garden tour is luscious. There's so much growing and I'm so excited to show you around. There are some highs and lows, some disappointments already. Of course I've had high hopes for the garden, but being a new mama, there's a lot going on. But there's still a lot going on even in this garden despite me not being in here as much as I'd like to be. So let me show you what's all going on, and yeah, I hope you enjoy this garden tour. I've said it in past gardening videos and I'll say it again. The big goal of the garden for us is to actually use the food that we're growing. We're so much in a habit of just going to the store and buying food that even though I'm growing it out here, and I know I am, it's such a mental click that needs to happen for me to actually come out here and grab the arugula and pick the kale and the lettuce that I have growing here instead of buying it from the store. So with that said, there is some food that is ready for us to pick, and we're going to be picking it today. Our peas are in full bloom, and actually the more you pick them, the more will come, and I have not been very good at picking them, so hopefully if I pick a whole lot today, we'll have a little bit more before these plants die back, because once it gets too hot, they won't continue anymore. And then hopefully the pumpkins I've planted around them will take over. So we're picking some peas today, lots to pick, lots of different varieties. Some are snap peas, which you can eat with the shell, and it kind of tastes alright. Like it's palatable and you'd want to enjoy it as just a full pea with its shell, and some of it is not very palatable, like these thicker ones. I will split these and pick out the peas. Depending on how much we have, I'll freeze some and some we'll eat fresh. But these peas are in bounty and now is the time to enjoy them. I will also be planting another batch of these peas later in the summer so that they are ready for our fall harvest, so we will get more of these. But again, I am making sure that I'm not going to let this crop go to waste. We planted a lot with the intention in mind to obviously eat them and put some away for the winter season, so pick away I will. Yeah, and I planted a lot to see, is this enough for us? Should we be planting more in the fall, or is this kind of a good load for us to plant each season? Tomatoes are coming along. I don't know if the way that we have them trellised this year with these strings are very successful. I think they're alright for now, but maybe next year we'll go back to trellising them. I think that did do a little bit better. But to be honest, I need to come in here and prune off some of the excess growth. Figure out which ones are bush varieties. I'm not very sure here. Although I am starting to, and do some pruning. I am starting to see some tomatoes, which is really rewarding. After a long, I kind of struggle with these tomatoes. I don't know, every year I start tomatoes indoors and I'm so excited about them. But by the time they get out here, the seedlings are looking quite rough. And so I'm very happy to see some actual fruit, not just flowers, but little fruit buds coming along. Now we have very prolific lettuce, which was doing so poorly earlier in the season, and we've got some coming up here. This is not the tennis ball lettuce, this is the brown beauty, yes. Brown beauty. And over here we have, so I just planted these alongside of the tomatoes. We've got this is endive, right, very, very cool. And then over here we have the Merlot lettuce. It's kind of a really dark red. Here's another little guy making its way up. Great, stunning lettuce. Here is our purple orac, standing nice and tall. Doing so well. This is kind of like a spinach leaf, and it really kind of, yeah, it's got a kale-y kind of taste texture, and it's looking like it's holding up pretty well to the heat. So a really nice green to have. I need to come and pick more of that. Got tomatoes and a weed in here, I think. Not sure if that's a weed actually. This flower, I wonder what that is. These marigolds all interplanted with my tomato bushes everywhere. They just do well to keep the bugs at bay and are good for the soil. Now there's some tomato plants here I need to come and still tie up. Yeah, that would do it much better than laying down, I think. Although I think in their natural habitat they do like laying down anyway. We're not gonna grow any amaranth here this year, so I can get this guy out. Our garlics has their garlic scapes. We grow the hardneck varieties specifically to have these garlic scapes, so it's time to actually come and pick them all off of our garlic bed here. Just doing great. Lovely to have lots of garlics coming up for this year. Excited about that. The rhubarb plant has gone to seed, and you can see it flowered. I'll put some footage here of what it looked like before. It was stunning, which has now turned into just these gorgeous, cute little seeds, which you can harvest and go start a million plants if you would like to. I am not going to. We just need this rhubarb right here. The peppers are coming along. Now look how cool this is. Companion planting is just wonderful. Over here we've got a broad bean, and you can see it's covered in aphids, just covered. And that is attracting all the aphids and keeping them off of my pepper plants, which is exactly what we're going for when we do that. And look, I spotted just a cool pepper over there. Look at that. That is sweet. Let's go see what its name is. This is a jalapeno. Very first jalapeno of the season, looking so good. Love it. And then a lipstick pepper over here. I kept the tags in this year, guys. Tags are good because then you know what you're growing, especially if you're just learning new varieties. But this is our lipstick pepper. These will turn nice and red, and they are sweet. So that's super exciting. That means that is actually a bell pepper we are growing successfully. Let's see what else we've got over here. A nice big one. Also the lipstick. So the lipstick is doing well. So those are red sweet bell peppers that do well in our area. Now we have lots of flowers on the other stuff. Cubanelle, a good variety, so hopefully we'll see some fruit here very soon. I don't see anything else yet. So, but I know the lipstick is a quick producer. Ooh, there are little fruits over here on the paprika. See them in here. Cute little paprika peppers. And actually the orange bell over here also has a little fruit. Hi! It'll be a good year for peppers, I think, which is great. I love peppers and I'm so glad to grow them successfully if I can. So my main three crops this summer was potatoes, onions, and pumpkins, because I just find those store very well for our winter season, and so that was sort of my main focus. And so my low point this month is that the pumpkins aren't doing so well. Basically, I planted them around our potatoes, and that would have worked just fine, but the potatoes have now outgrown the little pumpkin seedlings, and so they're kind of tucked away. I'm going to tie up some of the pumpkin foliage, and hopefully that'll kind of keep it at bay and make it better. But I have in the meantime gone to the nursery and just bought much bigger pumpkin plants. So either next year I will plant out later when my pumpkin seedlings are much larger, but I have to do something else because they were just totally outgrown by the potatoes way too quickly, like they couldn't keep up. And so once they're growing in the shade, not enough light at all, they're pretty well just not gonna make it. And so that's kind of sad, but I'm hoping that the bigger pumpkin seedlings will catch up, well, will do just fine and take over this trellis here pretty soon. Because we want a lot of pumpkins. Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkins. So the greatest struggle we have in the garden this month is keeping the weeds at bay. Our garden beds are actually in the ground, so they're not in, what are they called? Raised beds. And so while I love having the grassy terrain in the middle, that is a big struggle for us, always trying to keep the grass at bay from getting into our beds. We also struggle with a weed, I think it's called buttercup. It's this one right here. And it crawls and gets right into the beds, and so this is such a nasty little thing. And so I need to come through here with a torch and actually just burn the edges so that they just stay a little bit more at bay. Each time I come in here and do a lot of weeding, by the time I come out here, it all looks pretty bad again. And I don't want to get it into the beds and actually just crowding out all of my, killing off all of our plants. So that is a big effort. And the flower bed is probably looking the worst right now. I really have to keep my hand on it. But for the rest, we don't really need to weed too much. We do plant very, very close together so that the soil is totally covered and we don't actually have a lot of weeding to do, which is lovely. I only have to come in here about once a month and kind of pick through what got out of hand, but usually it's not too bad. Well, thank you for hanging out with me while I show you around our garden this month. Now we're just at the beginning of summer here, so there's still a lot that is going to be happening. So if you're enjoying this content, would you subscribe and stick around to catch some of our upcoming content? And I also make some footage and content of me cooking and baking in our kitchen. So if that's interesting to you, we'd love to have you stick around. And then you can catch some of our upcoming content. Alright, ciao for now. Bye.